We are live.
Sweet.
We have 2 people watching. Awesome.
What's up? Okay, so basically, hello, thank you. I'm sure you're watching on YouTube, but what we're going to do right now really quick is we're going to link into our Drive Tribe account. If you don't know, we are part of the Drive Tribe Publisher Network. We basically, our website goes through Drive Tribe. So if you haven't signed up for Drive Tribe, go on there, find our chat, find our tribe. It's Shifting Lanes on Drive Tribe. You basically just go on Drive Tribe, search Shifting Lanes, and we're there. So without further ado, I'm going to open up the video to that. So bear with me 1 minute as I copy and paste the link, and then we can get the Drive Tribe people as well as the YouTube people, and we'll get everyone watching at the same time. And then what we're going to do is we're going to unbox all of our new car parts for our Volvo V70R and for Chad's M3, and Chad's behind the camera, so say hello, Chad.
What's up? Yes, in this rather heavy box of goodness is parts for this and my M3, which, you know, better than this.
No, it's not. Going live, checking permissions, extracting videos. This is all technical crap that I don't know anything about. But awesome for Drive Time for setting this up. Thank you guys. You guys are technical wizards. And we love you from America! Oh yeah, that's my Subaru. It's a very awesome carbon fiber wing that probably will never go on it. Okay, looks like we're live on Drive Tribe now, just to confirm.
It is more likely to fall at some point. So.
Oh yeah, look, there I am. Nice. Nice. Is there a delay? Oh, there's a big delay. Amazing. All right, cool. All right, and that's it. Cool, so we have 30 people online on the Tribe chat, and I'm sure we have a bunch on YouTube. Chat, could you just go check, see how many we have on YouTube so you can say hey?
23.
Nice! What's up, YouTube? And what is up, Drive Tribe? The third of our crew, Hanson, he is actually in a business meeting right now. Nothing to do with Shifting Lanes, but he's actually at work, so he's going to be joining you guys in chat in a little bit. So be sure to kind of just stay on for him. And also sorry for the boom in here. We're videoing from my iPhone, which is the only place we can kind of go live from right now. We're in my garage. So this is my house. As you can see, it's kind of a wreck in here. There's what looks like coffee stains on the wall. Those are original to the house. I don't even know where they came from. But we have a 2-car garage. It's definitely not from that. So we have a 2-bay garage. The Volvo's in here. The M3 is sitting outside. We'll probably go outside and just check it out really quick for the live audience after we unbox these things and talk about how awful your car is and how amazing mine is. No more comments from you because that's the end of that discussion. So, without further ado, I have a trusty Leatherman, not sponsored, but Leatherman, if you're watching, you can sponsor. We have a Leatherman with a good knife. We're just basically going to dig into this box and see what parts we got. We ordered a bunch of stuff for the M3 and a bunch of stage 0 parts for the Volvo, and after we get into that, I will then kind of go into what stage 0 is for those that are not so Volvo inclined. But we can also talk about what parts we got for the M3 and how we're going to install them and what they exactly are. Oh God, this is actually really heavy box.
Oh, let me help you with that.
Alrighty, okay. So we got, I love Car Part Day. It's Nudie Magazine Day, but with car parts.
Christmas came a couple days late for us.
That's right.
Oh my God. Be careful, kids.
So the boxes are kind of really janky and really kind of in bad shape, but no big deal. Also wanted to give a shout out to FCP Euro. If you don't know what FCP Euro is, they are a car part supplier that you can get OEM parts from a lot of European car makers. For example, Volvo and BMW. They do Mercedes, I believe. They do VW. And they've helped us out with car parts in the past, so huge thank you to them. These we purchased ourselves through the money we've been making for YouTube videos and writing articles and doing stuff like that. So this is all self-funded, really. They gave us a little bit of a discount because we've been using them for car parts in the past, so FCP Euro is awesome. Their big claim to fame is if you order car parts from them and it's a wear item, like the brakes on our Volvo,
Or this clutch.
when they wear out, You literally can go back to their website, send this stuff back to them, and they'll give you parts for free for life if you bought the part from them. That is no joke. It's unbelievable. It's such a cool thing, and that is, I mean, that's their claim to fame, so definitely a good thing to check out. Just looking at chat now. And Hanson is joined. Welcome, Hanson. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for doing the chat. I appreciate it, man.
He told me to.
What?
What is this?
Yes, James King, Volvo V70R, 2004. It is the Auto Trans, but we're planning to do an M66 manual swap. So yeah, if you're not on Drive Tribe already, looks like you are, go subscribe to the YouTube channel too and hit the bell icon next to the subscribe button and you can see all the videos that we come out with this. And if you don't know, Chad right here bought a 2002 E46 M3 that we're going to put this up against when we modify it and bring the E46 back to stock, so we can kind of have a battle royale between my awesome Volvo and his really crappy BMW.
What the hell was that?
I'm not entirely sure. There may be animals in this garage that I don't know about.
Yeah, these animals are distracting you from the fact that this ain't big for me.
Yeah, sure. Alright, so anyway, getting back to the unboxing, because that's basically what we're here for. 29 good people online, so thank you guys for watching. Basically what we have here is a bunch of awesome new car parts. So, the first thing that we have is something for the M3, which is a brand new flywheel and clutch. So this is, Chad, why don't you talk about that a little bit?
This is an OEM dual mass flywheel. Dual mass is just, so you can get two types of flywheels for the most part. I mean, obviously there's way more options, but you have a dual mass and you have a single mass. Dual mass is just nicer to drive on a day-to-day basis. There's some damping built in there. Single mass is lighter, so you have less parasitic loss through the powertrain. Like Greg said, we're returning my M3 to stock first. So unfortunately, no major mods yet. I have to bring mine to stock while he has all the fun with performance bits. Then we have a Sachs, shut up Greg, clutch, which there's several parts in here. So the thing, based on some of the research I did before the M3, the BMW clutch comes kind of pre-sprung and pre-rotated, so it's an easy job to kind of mess up, but we'll see. Now, unfortunately, due to time and other restrictions, pressure plate, I'm going to have a shop do the majority, do this job in conjunction with the main seal that's getting done. Well, it's somewhere over there actually, just because of work and all that other stuff. But that will eliminate the constant worry of an oil leak. And since we're getting the transmission out anyway, there's the actual clutch assembly. Now the plate, and like I said, the springs in here are kind of internally damped, but you have the springs in here, and there's, based on the mechanic I spoke to.
Move to your right. There you go.
Thank you, Gregson.
You're welcome.
But this is kind of rotated and apparently easy to kind of mess up if you don't do correctly or know BMWs, because nothing is easy with BMW for some reason. Anyway, that's pretty much that. You have your throw-out bearing. So it looks like lube, clutch alignment kit. So that's all of that.
Awesome. So
anything in there that's going to help your excruciatingly boring Volvo?
Yeah, actually. So essentially, that's all you purchased. All we got for the M3. Oh no, there's more stuff.
But wait, there's more.
Wait, there's more. So basically, everything that we purchased for the Volvo is for something called Stage 0. Now, if you go on Google and search what is Stage 0, you're going to get a lot of different answers. Mainly forum answers from Sweet Speed, Matthew's Volvo site, a couple other Volvo forums like that. Basically, it's a gigantic tune-up for the engine before you start the modding. So you want to start with a lot of the things that are pretty basic. I believe this is a fuel injector. I have to kind of dig through these parts and get labels and everything. But things like, really, really easy to explain, and something that I know about because I don't have a crazy knowledge of cars internally, but spark plugs. I mean, doing this, replacing all the spark plugs. That's a simple fix that everyone can do to go Stage 0. We have piping. So basically, a bunch of the hoses you can replace. Make sure that everything is up to snuff. Make sure all of the clamps they come down, they're tightened down properly. And if there are any hoses that are either old, leaky, cracked, because these are rubber parts, you know, they do crack over time, especially in heat and cold, just from the engine running. And I mean, we're in New Jersey, we're in my garage. Oh no! Oh no! The thing is not doing well. Hang on, guys, 1 second. Technical difficulties. There we go. All right, awesome. We're back in business.
The joys of going live.
Welcome to live YouTube, everybody. So that's on an Osmo kind of handheld, the DJI thing, and the battery just kind of, you know, walked out really quick. But anyway, back to the piping. Yeah, it can crack due to hot and cold temperatures and just the engine running and just age of rubber. You know, rubber wears down over time, regardless of what it is. So new hoses will help with that. Fuel injectors, different hoses. There's also a bunch of other different parts that I had ordered as well. More hoses. This is really like Christmas morning. It's awesome.
One coil.
One coil. This is a BMW part, it looks like, and this is also a BMW part. I also got, this isn't stage 0 per se, but the front of our car, if you check out some of our other videos, it had no, basically no, the whole front end was just knackered. So I ordered 2 new grills for the fog lights because they were completely missing. The fog lights were also completely missing. So ordered 2 of these for €50, and I mean, look at this. You can see. I'm gonna try to get as close to this as I can. If you guys can check it out. I'm not really sure you can see that honestly, but right here it says Volvo. So this is a OEM genuine Volvo part that'll fit right into the front end of this car with some trim removal tools. So that's that. You can basically get anything from a CPU, which is really, really cool. Let's see what else we got. Yay, car parts. It really is like Christmas morning. This is awesome.
Alright. Apparently Stuck is German for
Stuck, nice. Alright, well, here's our master list. So, what we did for the stage 0 is I got the Volvo spark plug set, Volvo ignition coil turbo set, vacuum hose, radiator hose upper, radiator hose lower, new air filter from Male, which I believe is this. Yep, new air filter, and then the grills. But there's a lot more stage 0 just than that. Basically, you should get an oil change, you should get a trans flush, and the best place that I saw all of these fixes towards, brakes. It's really stage 0 was a big tune-up for the car before you start modding, before you start doing a lot of cool stuff to it. So if you have a Volvo, any Volvo really, but especially if you have the V70R, 60R from 2004 to 2007, which is what this P2 generation is, you should go on Matthew's Volvo site, which is the source that I used, and look at his list for stage 0, and that'll give you exactly what you need. So we had the shop near us do the oil change and the trans flush on this already. We did the brake repair ourselves. If you go to our YouTube channel, you can check out the actual repair job that both Chad and Hanson did at a garage that was nicely donated to us for the day. And then you can check out my video right after that where I give a review of the job that they did. And I'm here, so I didn't die, and they did a great job. So that is it for what we ordered for Volvo parts, and I believe you have a couple more BMW parts to kind of go through.
Yes, so the biggest thing, if you head over to our YouTube page, when I introduced the BMW, the #1 thing that was kind of irking me and the #1 fix that had to be done, that's what got all these parts, is the rear main seal. That's a little leaky, and it started leaking more ever since this car came up from Florida, which is where we purchased it from. So you have to drop the trans to do that job. So not really knowing how much meat is left on my clutch, that's why we got a new clutch. Anytime you do a clutch job, you want to do a new flywheel. And lastly, all of these bag of goodies and this tiny little box is all stuff for the shifter bushings for the M3, because right now it's a little wonky. I'm hoping that's the fix and not the linkage, but joys of project car ownership. I will figure that out. But that's basically it. All of my parts have something to do with my engine and or because it's a manual.
Mine will eventually be a manual, shut up.
Quit dragging the feet on it. So, yeah, the clutch is small.
It is a small clutch. But, I mean,
Yeah.
it says something about the driver.
Yeah, better,
No.
faster, more going down.
So, just to show you guys what, I believe this is what the ignition coil looks like in a Volvo V70R. There it is. Right now it's as big as Chad. Thank you, depth. So yeah, basically this is going to be replaced. We have 4 of these, I think it came through. So that's what's going to be replaced as part of stage 0. And yeah, so that pretty much does it for the unboxing. We have a ton of stuff to do, and that is awesome. Originally, what we had, and I'm actually going to swing the camera around over here just for a hot second. So there's the full Volvo, but over there in these 2 boxes, you can see here and here, basically those are 2, let me see if I can get it again, whoop, there, and then behind the Volvo that you can't see is, those are our bend pack quick jack lifts. And basically what we wanted to do originally was to turn this car into our first project car. And I think we've done a pretty decent job of it so far. And it's a project car in a large sense of project. It's a project car because this is our first car we purchased as a business, honestly.
Yeah.
The M3 is the second. This is our first project car because this is kind of our way to get into YouTube and kind of experiment with different videos and talk to you guys and engage with you guys, which is why we got on Drive Tribe, you know, partially in the first place, because they reached out to us and we wanted to engage with the Drive Tribe culture and all the people on there. And we love you guys, so thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing to us and reading our stuff. And if you're watching on YouTube and you don't know what Drive Tribe is, it's basically Facebook for cars. It's freaking amazing, and we engage with everybody on there. We talk about it. If you just know us from YouTube, we write articles every single day on there, like any kind of full service, you know, journal would. We all have day jobs. This is our side job, so you know how motivated we are to just do this, and we love doing it. So to bring really cool kind of content to you guys, that's what we're doing with these cars. Again, project in many different ways. Again, also project to work on these cars. Chad and Hansen, as I just said, they did a great job for this thing. We're also going to do all the work for this, for stage 0, because it's fairly easy. Don't think we really need to bring it to a shop for that. We have the tools for it, so there's really no point in letting someone labor on these pretty basic parts. But with that being said, like Chad said, we're going to partner with a couple of shops in the area because, one, we want to bring you guys cool content all the time, and since we do have day jobs, we're not going to be able to do all of this work ourselves. For example, on this car, you may notice that it's a little bit lowered, and Hansen actually asked in chat, I saw that, how many fingers I can fit in the fender well now. I can, if I'm going in straight like this, I cannot fit 2 fingers between the tire and the wheel well. So this thing is dropped on Elevate lowering springs, and a shout out to Don at Elevate. Thank you for helping us out with those on the pricing. They're amazing, and they're riding a lot better than the stock springs. We also got 4 brand new 4C shocks from FCP Euro, Monroe shocks. I believe they're OEM shocks. I believe Volvo uses Monroe shocks as their OEM shocks. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that is correct. Oh yeah, so we have all the old parts in the back, which we can show you now. This is the old shock. And you can kind of see, I'm gonna get a little closer and go behind the camera a bit to see what it looks like. You can see a little bit, the lighting's not great in here, but right here, there's a ton of rust. It's really old. It was in need of replacement, so yeah, this thing is, it was not in good shape. So that's
one of our
something.
shock towers here.
Yeah,
if you want a Vanna White for that.
Yeah, ooh, yeah, no problem.
But this thing is all sorts of corroded.
Yeah,
don't quit your day job.
But you can see, like, I'm not sure if it's going to come out on video, but all in here.
Bring it closer.
Just nothing but rust. The lighting, again, is not great in here, so sorry about that. But it's nothing but rust. Like, check that out. You can see a little bit. It was rusted. That's why we replaced these parts. A lot of corrosion. This car was a Pennsylvania car for its life. And if you don't know anything about Pennsylvania, if you're watching from UK or elsewhere, Pennsylvania gets a ton of lake effect snow, they get a ton of salt. Ah, not again! Yeah. This stupid Osmo is not doing well.
It's not Osmo.
It is not Osmo.
I returned it to whoever you bought that off.
Yeah, I bought this from Hanson. Hanson, I blame you! Jerk.
So, while you're kind of working with that.
No, it's already backed up. It's all good. So yeah, so again, project car in the sense that we wanted to, work on this ourselves, but we're going to do a couple things that we can't do ourselves. The shocks and springs were a bit complicated with the 4C system. There was a sensor that was bad, and specifically we put anti-roll bars or sway bars on this thing, in which in this car you have to drop the subframe for that. So we don't have that kind of knowledge. We didn't want to screw up the car. We have a Volvo specialist that's been working, God, for how long near us? Like 40, 50 years as a Volvo specialist. So we brought it to them, had them do all the suspension work, and holy crap, does this thing handle well. And Hanson can probably throw it up in chat. I just did a review. It wasn't a great review, but it was me kind of driving the car around after we did that suspension work, and it was unbelievable.
What's the title of that video?
What's that?
What's the title of that video?
How we turned, or we made our Project Volvo V70R handle like a sports car. And compared to what it was, that is 100% accurate.
The sports car is actually sitting in the drive, in the street.
Oh yeah, my Subaru WRX is sitting outside, and your M3 is, well, I don't want to swear, but crappy enough that it's not a sports car right now.
Way to pick glass engines.
That's not a glass engine. That thing's got 136,000 miles on it, smooth as butter.
You gotta rebuild it to get any real horsepower.
His S54 engine in that M3 has 172,000 plus miles on it. I wonder which one's gonna blow up first. Yours.
Once you start cranking boost up on this thing, man.
We'll see. There's a lot of stuff you can do to this engine to reinforce it. You can sleeve the engine and shim the engine. A lot of the Volvo guys have been telling us to do that, but that's for another day. And
but that's actually a really good point. A couple of guys were asking, so what exactly is it? Because I mean, we have all the parts for stage 0. What's our next step after stage 0?
So this thing is, it's tough to say actually, because we're turning this into like a sports car dad wagon is essentially the whole purpose behind this thing. To make it, man, I can't wait for you guys to drive it after these suspension components got put in. It is like night freaking day, man. But the whole point of this car is to make it into kind of an ultimate daily driver enthusiast dad wagon. That's the whole thing. So we have some suspension components down. We're going to turn the boost up on this. We're going to probably end up not rebuilding the engine, but redoing a lot of the stuff on the engine. We're going to basically make this thing a whole bunch faster with the tune, the new turbo, go fast bits, like anything you can think of that is going to make it both fast and safe, because it's got to still be a daily driver dad wagon. So we're not going to crank this thing up to like 900, 800 horsepower, one that would probably blow the engine like crazy. But also we want to make it usable. So probably between 350 and 400 wheel horsepower is where the target for this thing is going to be. We're also going to refurbish the interior. We're going to wrap the car. We're going to put new wheels on the car. These pegs are disgusting. Looks like someone took a drill to them, not even just curved them. They look just awful. So that's pretty much it for this car. On that same note, what are we going to do with the M3?
Well, right now, basically, Greg, if you watched my video on the M3, the whole concept was, the whole reason I bought the M3 was because this one here said that this Volvo was going to beat the BMW, a stock E46 M3. So I'm somewhat hamstrung on what I can and can't do to the BMW at this point in time. Returning it to stock is effectively the name of the game at this point. It does need a lot of love to get back to showroom. There's a lot of odd squeaks and rattles. There's a couple things in the engine, the oil leak that needs to be fixed, all that stuff. And after I'm done just toasting this guy up and down any track he wants to call me out on, really the sky's the limit on that engine. It's got a lot of miles on it, so maybe another lower mile S54 is going to go in there and do some NA mods. There's always the possibility of an engine swap. I know 2Js and LSs are popular swaps for that car. I have no idea, but right now I'm focused on getting it stock because, like I said, that oil leak the wonkiness in the shifter, and just the below freezing temperatures outside. I really haven't gotten a chance to enjoy it because it still is sitting on its summer tires, so I've been more than careful when driving around. But it's a great platform. Like I said, it has a lot of BMW mist to it, so there's a lot of odd things, and they're all expensive. But we'll see. Like I said, I just gotta get that thing running like stock, and then, you know, teach Greg over here what it means to have a long wheelbase under a steelmobile, which this will be.
Incorrect. It's gonna be amazing.
It's front-wheel drive bias. It's got, what is it,
Yeah.
70-30 weight distribution?
Oh, it doesn't even matter. Did you see what the Civic Type R just did around the railroad green? Front wheel drive means nothing. It's fine. This is all-wheel drive anyway. Once we get some new wheels and tires on this thing, I bet as is it would probably wreck your freaking car. So, if anyone's watching that is in the New Jersey, Pennsylvania, New York area that wants to come out and watch this car spank Chad up and down the track, suggest a track. We know a couple,
Yep.
but we don't know all of them. And if you own a track, please let us know. That would be
Yes,
amazing.
one of
We
our
can
50
actually-
viewers is a track owner.
Hey, who knows? You never know. But yeah, my personal want is to go down to New Jersey Motorsports Park and use that as our test ground.
Remember the last time we raced things at New Jersey Motorsports?
Yes, you ended up winning, and it was a cart. Not even the same thing. So whatever. But yeah, going back to like it's being cold. I'm in like a winter jacket. Chad's in like 3 different shirts, so it's
Actually,
freezing in here. It's like one of the coldest days in New Jersey. It's actually -1 degrees outside, and that's in Fahrenheit because we're in the U.S. and we use
Actually, 12 degrees,
so,
exaggerating.
it's 12 degrees, but with wind chill, it's -1, and it's about 30 to 40 degrees in this garage. So we're probably gonna wrap it up in a few minutes. But
So if you have any last minute questions or anything,
Yeah.
before we head out, feel free to hit him up in the chat. Hanson's doing a pretty good job of answering as much as he can on there.
Yeah. I'm actually gonna hop onto the YouTube chat because I know you guys have been on there, and sorry we haven't paid attention to you guys because we're filming with our phone and we're also on the Drive Tribe chat too, trying to get on there and answer your questions. But if you have any questions, you know, reach out and just hit us up right now. I think there was a question from someone on YouTube that asked what kind of tuning software we're going to be using for the Volvo. Excuse me, there's a couple of different options. Most notably, I think, in the Volvo community is a gentleman named Hilton. So Hilton tuned the Vita/Dice unit to read and actually map the ECU is probably what we're going to go for. Also, we need to reach out to Ben McNally over at Rolling Motors. We've been in touch with him. He is an absolute master at doing the M66 swap, manual swap for this car, and he knows how to remap the ECU for that, and it's going to need a complete remap, complete recode, and possibly a new ECU. I don't know that, he does, but we're in touch with him. So I think he uses Hilton tunes on his stuff, or he does it himself. I'm honestly not sure, but that's the general kind of direction we're going towards. A lot of you guys have reached out to me personally with some other suggestions. I can't think of them off the top of my head, but I've looked into them and all of them seem really solid. Safe tunes. It's not like you'd see in another community, for example, the Subaru community, where there's a ton of open source tunes that really aren't safe or
But that's actually a really good point, because I mean I mess with them all the time, that basically there's only so much this stock engine can kind of handle. You can get close to that limit with a good tune, and you have certain fail safes and everything built in. You know, Greg's other car is a Subaru. I'd love to mess with him and everything and talk about how his EJ is fragile and it can't handle it. A lot of that comes down to tuning. If you put good parts on the car and you know the acceptable limits, and you go to someone who, it's well worth paying someone the extra bucks to get your car tuned.
Yeah.
Because that makes all of the difference. Health of the engine, performance of the engine, all that other stuff. I believe we also had a question on there, Greg, of what was the hardest thing with our project car right now?
Yeah.
For me personally, with the M3, it's the weight or the anticipation of getting it back to what it was. Really, I haven't really gotten to work on that. I actually had a small issue with it that I'll be doing on YouTube probably Monday is when we'll be launching that. Small issue with my car going into limp mode on my way to work the other day. Turns out it's a throttle position sensor.
Which we have. which is great.
Yep, I got it last night. Probably gonna be working on it tonight or tomorrow.
Yep.
But for me, it's the anticipation of it. I mean, obviously we're in the holiday season, and when you're a kid, just Christmas Eve was agony. You just could not wait to open your present. Well, I have the added benefit, or lack thereof, or whatever you want to say, of having the present, but it's not there. So there's some issues with the steering I have to address. There's that god-awful interior that needs replacing. Just throwing it out there, if anyone knows of a junkyard or anyone in New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, Pennsylvania area that's good with BMW stuff, or you recommend, throw it in the comments or email us at contact@shiftinglanes.com. I guess now is also a good point to point out that we're on social media, all of it at Shifting Lanes. Check us out, subscribe, like, follow,
Yeah,
whatever.
we're really easy to find, guys. I mean, we openly admit that his name is Chad, my name is Gregson. The other guys who's not here, obviously, his name is Hanson. So it's really easy to find us. I'm at Gregson Mate on Twitter. I believe you're at
Chenedy83.
Chenedy83 on Twitter.
And Instagram.
Mr. Hanson Luckman on Twitter. Gregson Mate on Instagram. Like, you can find all of us pretty easily, and you can find Shifting Lanes easily. Just go on any social media and search Shifting Lanes, and we're going to be the first thing that pops up. So go subscribe to all those channels. We talk about the Volvo, the BMW, our writing, and anything about our business, our automotive enthusiasm journal on all of that. So, and email us. We've been talking with a bunch of Volvo people. If you're a BMW person, email us too. We just want to chat. Contact@Shifting Lanes, Gregson @Shifting Lanes, Chad Hanson @shiftinglanes.com. So definitely engage with us. I saw two more things on the chat. One was both of them were from the YouTube chat, and then I think we can probably keep this thing going. Is why didn't we replace the brakes with something a bit more performance oriented, or upgrade the pads? So we had reached out to FCP Euro, and we gotta change that again. I think it's because it's so cold. This thing keeps failing. Sorry, guys. It's one of those things.
A lot of guys your age have it.
Yeah, we're having some osmo erectile dysfunction problems. Basically, our camera is going into limp mode right now. So the brakes themselves, we didn't upgrade the brakes because, again, we wanted to bring this to stage 0. Stage 0, part of that process is replacing the brakes with what is OEM, essentially. So,
and it's Brembo from the factory.
Yeah.
So what it is now, these brakes are fine.
Right. These are Brembo brakes, and whatever opinion you have of Brembo brakes, that's fine. That's your opinion. But I can tell you, full stop. This does full stop way better than my Subaru or a lot of other cars that I've driven that are performance oriented. This thing has some serious stopping power. They're really big rotors. They're not slotted or drilled or anything, but as is, this thing has some really, really nice brakes. The pads are solid. The rotors are solid. The brake feel is solid. And it's just something that we didn't necessarily need off the bat. Are we going to do that? Absolutely yes. To beat an E46 M3 stock, I believe we have to upgrade the brakes. We're going to test it without doing that. So I would like to see if this stock brake system can outbrake the E46 M3 as is. I don't think it will, but I think it's a cool thing.
Yeah. Well,
to kind of see. That's the reason why we didn't do it.
That's also part of the journey for us, is just testing parts.
Exactly. We wanted to DIY the brakes. That was something that we could get on the cheap from FCP Euro, work with them and give them a good shout out, as well as give something for us that's a fairly simple job to do.
And I'd just like to point out, we keep mentioning them.
Yeah.
This isn't by no means sponsored by FCP Euro.
Yeah.
They're just an absolutely phenomenal website to go to.
Yeah, they're a super good company. We just enjoy.
I mean, the parts I got, and
the people
I got genuine parts here. If I went to BMW, so all these parts cost me roughly $910 plus shipping. I went to BMW to get these same parts from a dealer, and obviously it's a dealer, but the price was $2,600 just in parts. That doesn't even take into account labor or anything like that. FCP Euro is great, like Greg said, they have that lifetime wear replacement guarantee for as long as you own the car, and their prices are hugely competitive. So even though you know, we didn't get anything here really severely discounted or anything like
Right.
that. It was still the best place to go. If you own a European car, you owe it to yourself. Check them out.
Yeah, FCP Euro is very, very excellent. So, so yeah, that takes care of the brake thing. Then there was one other thing that I wanted to point out. Let me just go back and see what. Oh, that Volvo guy. What's up? That Volvo guy. I see you commenting on like all of our Volvo videos. Thank you for the support. What downpipe and exhaust are you going to go with? I don't want to reveal all of that because that's going to be in a video probably coming in the February to March timeframe, but we are getting a custom-made exhaust. That's all I'm going to say about the exhaust, but the downpipe is going to be the 3-inch 8.8 fab downpipe, and shout out to Josh for reaching out to us on that. We're working with him on a custom 3-inch downpipe, which I know he's getting his business up and running for, so
Just reveal the exhaust.
no, just the downpipe. But yeah, so it's going to be a custom built exhaust, but the downpipe is from 8.8 Fab. Just hearing the videos, specifically Josh's car actually on YouTube, sounds mean. It sounds so good with that downpipe. So I'm excited to do that. I know that you need a tune with the downpipe. So we'll probably do a tune on the automatic, just to be able to run the downpipe and the exhaust before we go into the full manual swap, if that time frame allows, but we'll see how that all works out in 2018.
Yeah. Speaking of exhaust, that's like probably the one thing about my BMW is if you've ever been underneath a 3 Series, really, right? I think most BMW. This is my first foray into European cars. I've had American and Japanese cars up until this point. But obviously the S54 is a straight 6, but it literally has twin exhausts following the entire length down. So you have 2 little exhausts, which means, joy of joys, the exhausts are freaking expensive. Like, it's unbelievable. Like, I think from front to, what's that?
Thanks, BMW.
Yeah, thanks for that. But it basically means like a full header to exhaust tip on my Lexus was like, I think 2-ish to 2,500.
Yeah.
The BMW, $4,500 to $5,000. So
That's ridiculous.
yeah,
You get an axle back exhaust for the friggin' Subaru for $400 off the forum. That is nuts.
yeah. So
Unbelievable.
that's, I mean, not to circle back, but that's probably the biggest thing with the BMW is just sticker shock
Yeah.
on just how pricey everything is, and that's why once I get it to stock, once he's left in a crumpled heap of defeat, that's why like I'm seriously considering swap.
Okay. So on that note, and I think this is where we'll kind of leave everything. So thank you so much for watching if you've been watching this whole time. But I think we have one last thing, and it's actually from Hanson. And this is him totally fueling the fire like a total jerk. But thank you, Hanson, for showing us this good question. It's not really a question. Name 5 things you hate about the Volvo. Name 5 things you hate about the Beamer. So you go first.
I mean, does it 5 things about what the Volvo will be, or 5 things as the Volvo sits?
Literally 5 things you hate about the Volvo. I guess it can run any kind of range in what you just said.
Unknown strength of motor, automatic, heavy front-wheel drive bias, and I guess it's really hard to say, but the interior, you know, because it's more.
It's 4 meows. You need a 5th
4.
meow.
The fact that you drive it. No, I mean,
Damn it, that's gonna be one of the ones that I did. Ass.
and also I prefer the boxier body style to this.
No, okay, that's interesting. Let's see, 5 things I hate about the BMW. You drive it, but that's lazy, so I'm not gonna count that.
That's just because I'm fascinated.
Dumber? I heard dumber. So...
Yes, I do things quickly and dumber. It's the branding way.
That's actually a really tough question for me because I actually do like E46 engines.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I do really like this car, and I like what it can become, and I love the idea of a 5-cylinder. It's just like, but
It's probably we're not playing it around at all now. We're like, I hate to say, but I still like it.
I mean, it's transverse dynamic, front-wheel drive, all the way it's over the nose. I mean, this thing, he's gonna go for a corner. Not that he goes in a corner at any sort of speed, but as soon as he actually goes through one like a normal human car enthusiast, he's gonna understeer. Well, meanwhile, I'm just gonna drift right around you, wave, and see you at the finish line.
I guess the best way to do this for me is as it stands because your car is in such bad shape. One, it's in really rough shape. It's got 172,000 miles on it. You talk about
But a lot of
you talk about unknown motor issues, like 172,000 miles on any car, specifically a performance car from 2002. That's shady. So I'm not a huge fan
you
of
say
that.
that, but that engine was recently opened up within the last 2 months to do the rod bearings.
True.
So the health of the internals of the motor has been checked out and given the thumbs up stamp of approval. Next question.
So M3 still is old and still a lot of miles for that age of the car. Doesn't matter.
New subframe, all that stuff's been redone.
Still old.
New suspension,
The
brakes.
interior of your car looks like it just came out of a wood chipper.
Yes.
That I don't like about the car. For the performance of the car, I don't know. That's pulling straws. That has literally nothing to do with the performance.
Right.
The fact that Beamers are very temperamental is probably my fifth thing. I know that my family has owned BMW since 1983. They've been daily drivers mostly. They had a 525i from 92. They had a 525i from 87. They had a,
Sounds like a family that loves BMW.
Well, my family does. I now don't because of you, jerk. But I can't speak to the reliability of BMWs on the whole. Hanson owned a BMW and had a lot of problems with that car. So I don't know if your car is going to make it to the starting line when we do our batch. So we'll see. But yeah,
It's getting there. Don't let him sway you. It's getting there.
I'm grasping at straws. I do like the E46 M3 a lot, but because this is a rivalry and in the spirit of the rivalry, I hate you and I hate your car. The end. Don't be in my car. Anyway, alright, so we've unboxed our parts like it was Christmas morning. There's wrapping paper and stuff strewn about like it is under the tree. It just happens to be in my garage. Yeah, fortunately nobody's crying yet. But we are going to do a couple more videos to put these parts on our cars to make them more reliable, handle better, sound better in the future, just be better cars overall. So the best part is no matter what happens, you guys are going to watch these cars go head to head sometime in 2018 on a track, on a drag strip, and in daily driving. I think that is pretty much the three major components to which is the better car. We can think of more things along the way, but with that being said, I think we're in pretty decent standing for the first quarter to have some fun, install some things, and bring more content to you guys.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah, thank you so much for watching. Again, I'm Gregson, that's Chad, and thank you to Drive Tribe, YouTube, and Hanson, a big shout out as well for managing the chats on there. Thank you guys so much, and we will catch you next time. And I'm going to go behind the camera and hit not live anymore. Peace.